let's be honest, there's something about historical K-dramas that just hits differently. And it's not always the politics or the romance. Sometimes it's the food, the way it's presented, the meaning behind every ingredient, and the quiet intensity of the people preparing it. And when you combine royal palace tension with culinary passion, you get a genre that's surprisingly addictive. So today, we're diving into 5 Korean dramas about royal chefs that are not just visually stunning, but also deeply emotional. And I want you to think about this while watching. If you were in a royal kitchen, where one mistake could cost everything, would you survive? Jewel in the Palace, 2003. Let's start with the legend, the one that basically defined this genre, Jewel in the Palace. If you've never watched this drama, you're missing a piece of K-drama history. Starring Lee Young-ae, this story follows Jang Gum, a woman who starts from the very bottom as a kitchen servant and rises to become one of the most trusted royal chefs. But what makes this drama powerful isn't just her success. It's everything she had to endure to get there. She faces discrimination, political manipulation, and constant doubt simply because of her status and gender. And yet, she keeps going. What I personally love about this drama is how it treats cooking as something more than just skill. It's knowledge, it's healing, it's responsibility. Every dish she creates has meaning, especially when it comes to the king's health. And let me ask you this, do you think passion alone is enough to overcome a system that's built against you? Or does it take something more? Because Janggum's story feels inspiring, but also painfully realistic. Feast of the Gods, 2012. Now moving on to Feast of the Gods, which takes a slightly different approach, but still keeps that intense culinary competition alive. This drama dives into the world of royal cuisine preservation through a prestigious institution called Arirang. At the center of the story, we have a fierce rivalry between 2 master chefs. And honestly, this is where things get really dramatic. It's not just about who cooks better, it's about pride, legacy, and the consequences of ambition. What makes this story stand out to me is the emotional weight behind the competition. There's loss, identity confusion, and a past that refuses to stay buried. Characters aren't just fighting for a title, they're fighting for closure. And I think this is where the drama becomes more than just a cooking story. It asks a deeper question. What happens when your dream comes at the cost of someone else's happiness? I'm curious, would you still chase success if it meant hurting people around you, even unintentionally? Mr. Queen. Now let's talk about one of the most unique and entertaining entries in this list, Mr. Queen. Starring Shin Hae-sun and Kim Jung-hyun, this drama flips the entire royal chef concept into something unexpected. Imagine this. A modern-day male chef suddenly finds himself trapped in the body of a queen in the Joseon era. Yes, it sounds chaotic, and it absolutely is. But here's what makes it brilliant. This queen brings modern cooking techniques into a traditional royal kitchen, creating dishes that shock and impress everyone around her. And at the same time, there's this hilarious but also meaningful identity struggle happening. I think this drama works so well because it balances comedy with deeper themes about identity and adaptation. It makes you laugh, but it also makes you think. So let me ask you, if you were suddenly thrown into a completely different time period, do you think your skills today would still matter? Or would you have to start all over again? Joseon Chef. Next, we have Joseon Chef, a drama that feels a bit more grounded but equally inspiring. The story follows Kim Yoo, played by Yoon San-ha, a nobleman who fails his state exam and ends up discovering a completely different path in life, cooking. And I think this is something a lot of people can relate to. Not everyone follows the path they originally planned. Sometimes, failure redirects you to something you never expected. What I really like about this drama is how it treats cooking as a form of self-discovery. Kim Yoo doesn't just learn recipes, he learns about himself, his values, and what truly makes him happy. There's also a strong message here about courage. It takes courage to walk away from societal expectations and choose a different dream. So I want to ask you, have you ever had to change your life direction completely? And if you did, was it scary or freeing? Bon Appetit, Your Majesty. Finally, we have Bon Appetit, Your Majesty, a drama that perfectly blends modern and historical elements. Starring Im Yoon-ah and Lee Chae-min, This story follows a French chef who suddenly time slips into the Joseon era. And from the moment she arrives, everything changes. Her modern cooking techniques, her creativity, and her boldness clash with the rigid traditions of the royal kitchen. But what makes this drama really interesting is her relationship with the king. He's cold, perfectionist, and has an extremely sensitive palate. So every dish becomes a test, not just of skill, but of understanding. I personally think this drama highlights something very important: innovation versus tradition. How much should we preserve, and how much should we change? Because while her modern approach brings something new, it also challenges deeply rooted customs. So here's my question for you. Do you think tradition should always be respected, or is it okay to break the rules to create something better? When you look at all 5 of these dramas together, it's clear that stories about royal chefs are never just about food. They're about ambition, identity, resilience, and the constant struggle between tradition and change. And honestly, I think that's why they're so addictive. So now I want to hear from you. Which of these dramas made you the most curious? And if you could taste just one dish from any of these shows, which one would you choose and why?